right? Okay. Today the homework is for December US 2021. As you guys can see, that 2021 is quite heavy on the mathematics, specifically on the graphical side and statistics. So we're going to have to focus more on the theoretical part of the SAT. But as you have done one section of the 2020 maths already, you can see that it's it's going to get a bit harder as you go further into 2020 and 2019. 2016 is the hardest, right? 2016 actually is the practice test one I've given you guys. But let's start off with the lesson. Firstly, with the first question, I'm going to start off as usual with the thumb. Can you do me the first question?
1D.
1D. Right, this is one of my pen is not working. Hang on a sec. All right, this sounds a bit fuzzy because let me just reconnect this. All right, sounds better.
Okay, this is better. All right. This when we encounter an SAT maths, in order for us to not to get this wrong, and in order for us to kind of do this quickly, we're gonna have to assume what they're asking about. Firstly, there are just a handful of the SAT in the SAT. Firstly, they're going to, if you encounter a linear question, what they can ask for, firstly, is the slope, right? The slope is the rate of change, delta y over delta x, rise over run. And also the y-intercept, which is the starting point, right? Everybody remember, this is the y-intercept. And also it is the starting point. All right. So when they ask for when the pump started running, we can very quickly assume that this is asking for the y-intercept. So it's a starting point and it's 1000. Obviously, this is not difficult, but it adds up, it's cumulative, and it will cost a lot of time if you don't know what to find already. So when we encounter a line, we first going to have to look for there are just a handful of things. Firstly is the y-intercept is the most common. Secondly is the slope. And the lastly is the solution, which is the x-intercept, right? This is the least common of all, x-intercept. Okay, that's it. They are the only three values we're going to have to remember, and they are going to test us in. Okay, you can continue with 2.
2B.
2B, again, a linear equation. There's not much to, yeah, there's not much to focus here. And 3?
C.
3C. Yep, just look at the graph. Which closest it took the object to change from 4 meters, change from 4 meters per second to 8 meters per second. All right, speed from 4 meters per second to 8 meters per second. 4 is okay, 6. Right, approximation. Look, remember, this is the keyword here, the closest to the time. The closest is the keyword. All right, next up, home. You can tell me the fourth question.
It's A.
The shaded part, do we take it or do we eliminate it?
We take it.
We take the shaded part, so it is 4A. All right, very good. 5.
All right, D.
5 what?
D.
D. All right, D. Linear infinitely many solution. Can you tell me how many cases of solutions are there in linear equation? Firstly is infinite.
Infinite. One solution.
And one solution. Infinite is
And
when?
is when there are infinite amount of solution, number of solutions.
When infinite is, you're going to have, firstly, you're going to have result in a constant form, b equals c. For b is different to c, so this doesn't make sense, right? For example, this 10 equals 8. This equation has no solution. And if there's one solution, it will be 10x equals 8 and anything in between. And the latter part is no solution, which is, we are not going to talk about that because we're going to solve it and we can see that. Oh yeah, this is no solution, I'm sorry. And infinite is the other way around. 10 equals 10. Because if x, in this case, x is plus x times 0, and x will be right for every single case possible. So in this case, it's infinite, and in this case, 10 equals 8 is 0 solution. All right, very good. 6.
A.
6a. Let's see. Square root of x3 is x3 half, and okay, 3 times 3 is 9. Is 9. Okay. 7, it's back's turn.
Number 6 is
Number 7,
number 7 is B.
B. What does it mean to congruent?
It means equal.
Equals. Very good. So when we encounter the word congruent, just simplify it and think it as equal, so as not to mistake with similar in triangles. All right. Very good. 8.
B.
B. Okay, remember to change it into this form for easier for ease of use. Y equals ax plus b, and if you're quick, you can just plug in x equals 0, and then for each of these option, you can just eliminate them all. POE. All right, 9.
D.
Hang on a sec. D. Firstly,
B.
B. This one.
Yes.
Okay. Firstly, can you tell me this is a decay or growth? Is it a decay or is it growth?
Decay.
Decay, why is it decay?
Because it's like if x is larger, then the value of like will be smaller.
So you can summarize this as, if you can remember this shape, this form of exponential function is ab to the power of x. And if b is larger than 1, it will be decay growth. What do you think?
A is larger than 1, then it's a growth.
Growth, exactly. And if b is smaller than 1, it is decay, right?
Yes.
And if b equals to 1, it'll be a constant, so it doesn't change. So in this case, a growth will have this shape, and a decay will have this shape. Remember the words also, because sometimes it will appear, although rare, but they still appear on the SAT. They ask about decay and the growth functions. The decay will have this downward slope, and the growth will have this upward slope. And we can just plug them in. We have B. Okay, very good. 7, 8, and 9. All right. Next one is Lina. 10C. All right. This one, I want to ask you, if I replace this y-intercept as a constant, and I say, find the gives the y of it. No, I'm sorry, y value of y-intercept. If I just cross this out entirely, and I say, which one will give me the solution something's wrong with my the solution. Oh, it's get heat up. The solution as a constant or a coefficient, what would you choose if I say the solution?
B.
B, why is it?
Because to ask the solution and B give the form up to solutions of X.
Okay, so when they ask for the solution as a constant or coefficient, they can use the word coefficient. It means that they want to find the solution right as they were looking at the graph or the equation. So in this case, B, you can clearly see what are the solutions of this equation.
Yes, they are 3/3 and -7/5.
Exactly. So in this is essentially asking us to specify a factored form. This is a factored form, right? This is when I cross this out and I say the vertex, what would you choose?
D.
D, right? Because you can see the vertex here turns into the vertex form. A x minus h to the power of 2 plus k. This is the vertex form for h and k is the vertex. So you can see that they are essentially asking for us to specify, to make apparent the word, the phrase or the condition in question. So in this case, this is the y value of the y-intercept. And we can see A, B, C, and D, they all have the same y-intercept when we plug in x equals 0, because they are essentially the same equation. But only C can show the y value of the y-intercept as a constant. Look, minus 221. So we choose C. So when they ask for show it as a constant or coefficient, we're just looking to different forms of, say, quadratic equation. Firstly, there's factored form. Secondly, there's a vertex form and a standard form. Standard form, it makes clear of the y value of the y-intercept. And the factored form, it makes clear of the solutions. And vertex form, of course, it makes clear of the vertex. So keep that in mind. Very good. 11.
11A.
11A. Very simple. 12.
12D.
12D. Let's see. The system consisting of this equation. K is a constant, has two real solutions, which of the four. How did you do this? How did you do the 12th question?
I said that the equation y equal to k and
How do you draw this?
it will
Okay, the quickest way is to draw this one. And do you know how to draw a constant equation? K is a constant, so y equals k is a constant equation. How do you draw a constant?
it will I can explain it in English.
So it would be basically like a line, right?
Yes.
So when you have a constant, you're going to have a line. This case, k is a constant. So let's represent y equals k as this line. We're going to move k up and down as k moves through the integer, okay, from 0 to 100 or minus anything like that. As k moves through the integer, we are going to find that this one moves up and down. And every time they ask for the number of solution, the number of real solution, we're going to find the intersection between this and the function in question. So essentially, this equation, you remember when we equate the y values, we have y equals, for example, I have this one is y(a)x squared plus b squared, bx plus c, and we have y equals k. Essentially, if we equate these two equations and we have k equals ax squared plus bx plus c, if we know what a, b, c are, and they're asking for us to find, the coordinates of these solutions, we're going to have to result in doing this. And in doing this, we're basically moving this one up or down so as to have this intersecting this as two real solution. So if I ask you where k should lie in order for this equation to have one solution, what would it be?
C.
K, C. Yes, very good. So this one is, if I ask for one solution, this will be C. Okay, that means that you've successfully applied the entire knowledge to a different kind of question. So I want you to approach every single question like that. You don't just solve one question, you solve one kind of question. For example, this case, we are solving the graph. That's why I have to teach you guys so much in such a very simple question, because there are so many related information about it, and we do not let anything glide. All right. Next up is 13. V.
C.
13C. This one is very simple. Right, next one, 14.
40C.
14C.
C.
Let's see. 14C, yeah. On the digital SAT, you can use your calculator. But if you remember how to convert this one into degree and then use the circle of trigonometry, that's totally fine. But in this case, we're going to result in using the calculator for safe measure because time, right? C. Next is 15.
15. B.
15B. Right, this is very simple. So I'm going to ask you to do another one. How about yeah, 18.
18. N will be 12.
18, 12. Right. This one, we are basically using the n is a positive value. And this one is solving for x, but they're phrasing this question differently. So it doesn't really bother us too much. You just solve it. Right. Next up is back to thumb. 16.
4.
16 is 4. Right. 17.
2.
17 is what?
2.
2. Right. Can you do 19?
7.
7. Yep. Very good. How did you do 19?
I use my calculator to use the verify functions.
All right. Okay, that's very smart. Well, if you don't have a calculator, in this case, you're going to have to result in doing what? Do you know?
Using the formula.
What formula?
X to the power of n plus minus y to the power of n.
Is it x to the power of n minus
Minus y to the power of n.
y to the power of n? Can you elaborate it? How did you do this?
I deducted from the formula which x to the power of 2 minus y to the minus 2 power of 2, and the formula that x to the power of 3 and y to the power of 2. From those two formulas, I deducted the general formula.
So you just you're separating these functions into what? 1x, and you group x to the power of 2 with x to the power of 4.
Quite.
What?
I'm not quite. I use the marker feature of Zoom
I'm
to
sorry, what did you say?
annotate. Can I draw on the
Yeah,
screen
sure.
right now?
Yes.
Okay. So like we have these two formulas, right?
Yes.
So this is equal to x. That's why in this case, x is 1. So in this case, oh wait, let me see. So we have this formula. So I saw that in this case x is 1 and this like this part is like the same, right? And
Yes.
this part is just the expansion of the like the power, the n.
Oh. So you apply this to solve this one?
Yes, that's basically it.
Okay. So that is very well, this is generally if we do this, it will be considered a quite advanced kind of knowledge, because on the SAT, to be honest, it rarely does it ever test to the polynomial to of degree of third, to y third, like that. So I'm gonna ask you to at home find a simpler way of doing this without using the polynomial to the degree of third, to see if you can solve this, because this is indeed very interesting one. And on the SAT, it's very simple. It's never is difficult. And if you can find the way to solve this, message me and to see if you've done it right. But of course, you can always use your calculator like Dom did, the easy way. You can just equate this to the you just use the verify function of your calculator and then equate this to this one and plug in n. It's very simple, and you're gonna get n is 7. Or you can do Hung's way, but I doubt you would know it to do it as quite performant in the SAT, because you remember you only have like 25 minutes to do in this case, so it won't be enough for you to come up with such a complex solution. But that's good. Now, congratulations to you, because you know such an advanced kind of way of solving. All right, very good. Next up, Dom, you solve it for me too, right? 20.
376.
376. Let's see, rectangular prism has the edge length of 6 inches, then what's the surface area? So a rectangular prism, it doesn't matter which orientation it is. It can either be the height, the width, or the breadth. It doesn't matter. You just multiply them in, and you have these two. You multiply this in 8 times 10, and you have one side, and then you times 2, because you have two sides, identical side. And then let's assume the other one is 10 times 9 times 6, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and you add them together. Let's see if this is correct. 8 times 10 times 2. And 10 times 6 times 4. 10. 4 and 2 plus 2. Yep, that's it. 376. Right, that's good. Next up, I'm going to glide over this one because this one is calculator enabled, so there's not much to do here. Starting with the first question, Bike, can you do it?
Yes. First question.
Yes.
It's B.
B, very good. To the second question,
B.
B. This one, right? B.
Yes.
What is the value choose 5? You just plug them in. And
Yeah.
3?
5. Yeah.
3 is
3 is C.
C. Okay, let's check. This one, it says decreases by half every 15 hours. So it can only decreases by half when x reaches 15. And by this case, we're going to simply divide x by 15 and times, this is raised to the power of,
1
okay,
over
1/2. 1/2 will be raised to the power of x to over 15. And we have 10 is the initial mass. And we have 10 here. All right, very good. Also do 4 for me.
A.
For A, the number of days the hiker takes to walk the entire trail. What does the solution represent? So this is basically explaining the solution, so it doesn't,
Yeah,
it's
X.
not too difficult, right? X, they're asking for X, right? Very good. Next up, 5, Hung.
Is A.
5 is A, right? Very good. 6,
6 is A.
6 is A. Okay, I believe this question you asked me earlier, right?
Yes.
This one is basically to find out whether it is increasing or decreasing, whether it's exponential or linear. You're gonna have to take into account for the x-axis and the y-axis. Remember, this is an exponential function, and this would be a linear function. So you can see that this one raises to a constant of 0.2. At 0.2 every time, every other time. And this one is also raised to a constant, which is 0.48 every single time. So this is most likely a linear, and also this is raised every, these two values, they all raise to its constant. It doesn't decrease, so A, right? 7.
7D.
7D. And 8.
8. A.
8 what?
A.
A, okay. Very good. Next up, Lina, 9.
9C.
9C. What is the length? How did you do this?
Because BD is parallel to AE, so CB over CA equal to DB over AE.
DB over A. Yes, exactly. This is what we call a Thales theorem. Like, it's just like Pythagorean and Thales theorems, and is very the same. This one, CB over CA equals DB over EA, right? So you just plug in the values and you get C, 16. Cool. Next up is 10.
10D.
10B, let's see. If a
D.
survey employee, B what? D?
D.
D. All right, 10D. If a survey employee prefers to work on a team that is chosen at random, what is the probability selecting an employee from group A or group B? So what is the total? What is in the denominator?
20.
What?
20.
20. Why 20?
They say that the survey employee who refers to work in a team.
Yes, prefers to work on a team. So this one, right? Single out this column. And we have 20 in the denominator. What is the numerator?
15.
Yes, we just add these two in because they're asking for group A or group B. If this is group A and group B, it will be 11 minus 4. Okay. But on the SAT, I don't think it will be that difficult. So it's 15. 15 over 20. So it's D. Okay, cool. 11.
11D.
11D. Yes. Next up, 12.
12C.
12C. First off, can you tell me how you did this?
I see that the vertex on the left side of the y, so x will be negative.
Yes, B will be negative. So it will be
And-
minus B, right?
Yes.
And
The it has the shape like that, so A will be positive.
okay, A positive. And C, you can see that C is below the X axis. So it will be
C.
a negative
Negative.
also. This case is negative or negative will be positive vertex form, and this will be negative. And you can just, for any type of polynomials, for even a to the power of 27, for example, you can just look at the ending of the graph and see if it goes up or it goes down. In this case, it goes up, so it is a positive, and if it goes down, it will be a negative. So if I give you a squiggly line like this, it will be a positive. And if I give you just a very complicated things like this, it would still go down. So A is smaller than 0. This stays true for A to X to the power of 3, 4, and 5, and so on. So you can apply this rule to everything polynomial. Okay. Next up, 13, Ving.
D.
13D. Positive value of X and N. X is n% of 20, which expression represent N in terms of X. N in terms of X. So X is n%. X times n% is 20. So which one represent N? So X times N divided by 100. It's 20. 20 here in terms of X. So we're going to have N divided by 100 equals 20 divided by X. And then we have 100 times, X and N. X is n% of, oh, I'm sorry, is the other way around. X is n% of 20. So yeah, it is D, right? 14.
A.
14 is A. C, D, 20. C and D are negative constant. How did you do this one?
I will eliminate B and D because it told that C and D is negative, so the graph will go down. And
Okay.
And because it's C and D negative, so the line will be on the negative side, from the negative side.
Okay.
So I would choose A because C the line is from the positive side.
Oh, all right. Okay, I get what you mean. But first, we're going to move this to the the right side of the equation first so that it can be easier to calculate. dy equals minus cx plus 20. And they say that c and d are negative. C and D are negative, so if I say divide this by it will become minus c over d x plus 20 over d. In this case, 20 over d is a negative or positive. 20 over d. Ving, do you know 20 over d? It is negative or positive.
It's negative.
Yes, because d in itself is negative and minus c and d, c over d, it is
Negative.
so c and d, because the sign they cancel out and negative, it remains negative. So this is smaller than 0. This is also smaller than 0. So firstly, it goes down and the y-intercept is smaller than 0. So it's d and c are out and you choose A. Very good. Next up, 15.
15A.
15A compares the means of the two data sets. Right, you just calculate. Do you know how to calculate the mean in this case?
Yes.
Why
First,
do you just use your calculator or you based on the graph?
I'm based on graph. I see the outlier.
Oh, yes. Right. You see the outlier of data set A is on the right side or the left side.
On the right side.
If I place it on the left, what happens? I cross this out and I place this one on the left. What would the mean change? The relationship between these two? A or B is bigger?
A still bigger.
Is A bigger?
Yeah.
Why is it?
Because if you add one value to set A and set B, didn't add any values, so set A will be greater than set B.
Actually, these two have the same amount of value. They just this one is equivalent to this one, so it has the same amount of value. The same amount of entry. So if I am to move this one to the left-hand side, it means that, for example, I have 20 plus minus 45 divided by 2. Is it going to be bigger than 20 divided by 1? Is this one bigger or this one bigger? A and B. Is still your turn, V.
B will be bigger.
Because A in this sense will be subtracted by will be adding a very small number, right? In this case, it's the same. We're adding a very small number to the data set. The data set, they usually have the same entry, and we add the very small number, which will result in the mean will become significantly smaller. So in this case, will be smaller, but as you said, the outlier is on the right-hand side. So this will be bigger than the rest of the values. So it will be bigger. That's why this one is bigger. Do you understood that? Okay, good. Next up is 16.
16B.
16B, based on the line of best fit. Yeah, very simple, 16B. All right, next up, let's go back to thumb. And what is 17?
C.
17C. Which label district greatest number of registers? This is just basing off of the graph, so it's not very too difficult. in essence, when you find a very long, very complicated kind of SAT, mathematics SAT question, most of the time you just, if you find this one is just explaining what the values are, you don't really need to know if they are providing, firstly, the equation, secondly, some additional values, only then would you read this paragraph, because as you can see, it can be very confusing to be at first if you encounter this head first. So I'm suggesting you that when you encounter a double kind of a paired question, you start off with the actual prompt instead of reading the context. This is what I would call a context, and this is a prompt. Okay. And also, when you read the prompt, do you read up from bottom up or up to bottom? Still remember that?
Bottom to top.
Okay, so you read bottom up, you read the very last line. So this is the order. If you encounter a paired question, firstly, you're going to read the very last sentence of the prompt. And then if you still don't understand the question, you read the entire prompt. And then if you don't even understand the prompt, only then you read the context. So it won't take as much time reading the unnecessary parts. In this case, this one is unnecessary, and 17 is C. Right, correct. Next up, 18.
18D.
18D, let's see. Lisbon, North Dakota has a latitude of longitude, which of the following is closest to the average low temperature in January predicted by Lisbon model? Latitude. Yes, this one is kind of complicated to read at first, but in essence, this is just plugging in the values to this one. It is an equation, finding the average low temperature. Next up, 19.
B.
19, wait, 18, you chose D, 19B. Okay. Between the longitude, for which of the following values of X are the predictions made of the model closest in value? How did you do this at first?
It says that X between the longitude line of 0 to 10. I don't remember how I did it, but let's think.
Let me just check.
I took the two equations equal to each other.
Closest in value, so you chose the equal sign or the minus sign.
Can you repeat the question?
So long story short, I think my way would be just take this and subtract this by this one, and you plug in X to every single option to see if it fits. That's my way. Did you do the same way as this?
Maybe.
Okay, so that's a long time you forgot. So in this case, this is what I do. So this will be the quickest. On the calculator, I will type in 116.18 minus 2.31 x, or minus, you remember the brackets, 69.79 minus 0.80 x, and then you plug in, you use the calc button, CALC button, this one, and you plug in each value for x. This will be the quickest way in my book. And if you approach it in any other way, remember to find the most optimal way possible. If you know a quicker way, tell me. And if not, this is by far the fastest. All right. Okay. Next up, let's do 20 also.
28.
Hey, very simple. Just use the calculator. 21, back.
B.
21b. The standard deviation of data set X is greater than standard deviation of data set Y. All right, how did you do this?
So X has like a wider range, while like data set Y is confined, so they Y would have a smaller standard deviation.
Yes. So if it is more compact, it will have a smaller standard deviation, right? And if
Yes.
it is more widespread, it'll be bigger. So in this case, you can see that this is a X 1, 2, 3, and 10, 17, 18, and 19. This 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is very compact. So this one, if we draw a line, if we draw a graph between this one, it'll be like this. And if we draw a line, this one, it'll be like this. This one, okay? So it's much more compact, so it's big, right? Besides, if you don't know whether to be sure or not, I think I would show you how to do this just for safe measure. And if you have spare time, like if you really have some spare time, you can use your calculator. Okay, I'm gonna show my calculator. First, I'm gonna have to note all of them in. Hang on a sec. You can just use your calculator. If you use the Casio 580 FX like this, you can press the statistics, the number 6, mode 6, and the same thing would goes for Vinacal, and try to find the word statistics. And type in 1, firstly, is the variable. And you can see the table here. Then you type in every single value here. 1, 2, 3. Let me just broadcast my phone real quick. And you can see the interface is very similar. Just pretend like this is the your calculator. You press mode and find statistics. Where is it? Here, statistics. It only says statistics on some machine. So press here. And you type in data. Here, you can see there are sometimes, sorry, statistics, option, data. And you can see sometimes there are frequency table. And remember, everything has to be 1. For example, if I say 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, like this, for example. And just press the word option on your calculator also. And variable calculate. You can see these are the calculation, and you can see this. I'm sorry, the sigma, the very second one here, sigma x equals square root of 19 over 5. That is the standard deviation. Okay, and if you and only if you have a lot of time in your hand and you still don't know how to do this, this is what you're going to come up with, because we don't want to waste any question. And that's precisely it. Also, if you like, you can find the min, the max, and medium, and the median also. So everything you need about statistics on the SAT can be calculated here, but only if you have a lot of time in your hand and you forgot to do the other way around. So you can see that there's a lot of way, and either way is possible, but this way is a lot longer to do. It takes a bit more effort. So I would suggest to do the easy way of memorizing your homework, like Beck did. Right, 22.
Oh, B.
Okay, B, circumference, circle B. Okay, this one, 6 times the diameter of circle B, and this one is also 6. This is, if you don't read carefully enough, it will be a trick question because you might choose 36 if you assume this circumference has this equation. But in fact, the circumference has this equation. Okay, D times 6, so the circumference will times 6. Right? Remember, this one is, I find most people make this mistake. Diameter is a long line that stretches from edge to edge of a circle, and the radius is a half line, right? Remember that one? Because when you recheck your result, anything that relates to diameter and radius, you're going to have to double check it and read the very last sentence to see whether it is asking for the radius or the diameter, because most people would make that mistake. Okay, how about 23, you two?
D.
23D. Let's see how many calories of heat are required to raise temperature from this one to this one. 20 grams of snow by T degrees Celsius defined by linear function. So basically, essentially, you just finding, you have these two equations. Firstly, x 0 is 0. Secondly, x is 3, y is 30. Also, I'm going to remind you how to do this very, very quickly on your computer. You have 0, 0 and 330. 0, 0 and 330. Remember that? Let me just connect this. And you can see, oops, my result mode. And you press in this one, the equation of two unknowns. And you can very easily see the shape here. Firstly, A is 0, B will always be 1, and C will always be, wait, only B will always be 1, and C in this case is 0, right? And let me remember, A in the second column is 3, and B will be always be 1, and this one will be 30. We have x 10, y is 0, so it means A is 10 and B is 0. You get that? And let's go back. We have A is, what was A? Let me just, A is 10 and B is 0. And you just plug this in and we get, let's see, 23D, right? Good. Next up, home, 24.
4 is D.
24 is D. Okay,
Yes.
25,
C.
25C. Right. 26. 26 what?
B.
B. What is it B? Okay, this is what I would do if I don't really have much time, and this is the quickest way that I find as of now. You just multiply them in and you group them out, and you can find this shape. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And essentially on the SAT, the first thing is almost always to be the correct one. The only when you encounter a difficult question, it will be the second or the third way of solving will result in the quickest way possible. And okay, 27.
7C.
So C is still very simple. 28.
B.
B also. And 29.
39. D.
D.
Yes.
All right, good. Next up, Lina, 30.
38.
30A, let's see, wind soil responsible. Which inequality represent the soil loss X in billions of ton on cropland from sheet water erosion in 2007? Soil loss X in ton, 3 times total of 1.73 tons, loss 0.77. 0.77. Sheet water, 3 types were total. The soil loss. Oh, this is inequality. How did you approach this question?
They ask the equality of the soil loss x, so it will larger than 0, and there are 3 types of erosion were responsible for the total of soil loss, and it has the total of 1.73 billion tons.
Okay.
And they also tell that wind erosion was responsible for 0.77. So I calculate
Subtract.
the yes,
You can subtract,
and
yes. Okay, you get
it will, and x will be smaller than 0.96.
okay, very good. So this one is just lengthy. It's not really difficult. But how you're going to approach it is you read from bottom up, is you read this one and you crawl your way up. Yeah, this would be the quickest way to read this question or any math questions whatsoever. All right, next one, 31.
6.
31 is 6. All right. 32.
8.
32, 8. One possible value. So in this case, you can see that they ask for 1. In this equation, it can have 2, but they only ask for 1. So remember what they are asking for. You can't really type in a comma on the SAT. So just type in 1. Remember to read. If they ask for the greatest, okay, it would be more dangerous, which they will ask more often, and or positive. Of course, negative also. Remember to look for the very last sentence of when you recheck your answer, look for the last sentence. Okay, this is 8. 33
24.
is 24. Okay, 24. Next up, Ving, 34.
9/5.
9/5. 9/5. Yes, right. 35.
From 31 to 35.
Oh, I saw your answer on the homework. You can just type in one random number from 31 to 35. So I'm going to choose 33, okay? You don't really have to type in 31 to 35 because it will be disqualified, right? So next time, if you find a question that has multiple values to it, type 1. 30, I'm going to choose 33 because why not? Okay, 36.
3.
3. Remember, this one is p minus 3. 37.
4/5.
4/5. Table summarize the number of university. What is the probability is a public university or college? Okay, tell me how did you do this?
Is said a university or college greater than 10,000 selected. So I will take the value for in the public greater than 4,000 over the total.
Oh, what is the total?
The total of greater than 10,000.
So this is 5, right?
Yes.
And what is the numerator? They're asking
4
for
in the public.
public, exactly. So they're asking for public, so it is 4 over 5, and this is how we got this, right? 38.
3/2.
3/2. Let's see. The graph shows relationship between the length T in feet of a patterned fabric and the length S in feet of solid fabric that Josh can buy from craft store for a total of $18. The relationship can be this. A and B are constant. What is the value of A and B? Right, so you choose this one, and you have 18. A plus B. Firstly, you have A times T is 0 plus B times 6 is 18. I'm going to have 8B is 3. But they are asking for A over 3, so it should be 2 over 3, doesn't it? Shouldn't it? Right?
No.
How did you come about 3 over 2? Is it B3? B3, so 2 would be A, so it should be 2 over 3. Right? This one should be 2 over 3. Be careful on making such very last steps like this, because this can be very regretful. All right, that was quick-ish. Let's move on with this one very quickly. And next up will be thumb number 1.
1C,
1C, 2,
2D,
D, 3,
D,
D, and 4.
4B,
Okay, very simple. Bike 5 to 9.
5A,
5A, 6.
D,
Okay, D, 6D, 7,
A,
7A, 8.
A.
This one, let's pause for a bit. How did you do this one?
So basically, I just kind of first to
It's just interpreting the context. So what is fx?
fx is y. Wait,
Fx is the y, but in this context, what is fx?
fx in this context is like the height.
The height, yes, the height difference. This one. So in this case, this is x is in feet, right? So we're
Yes.
gonna say that F40 equals 1.7025 is that the surface 40 feet from the left side is approximately 1.25 feet. They're basically saying that this is 1.25 feet height for the place that is 40 feet from the left side. So we can see that the left side and a point x feet from the left side here. We can very easily see that in the context, we have pretty much everything we need to represent the graph or the equation. So next time we take from the context, so it will be less risky. Okay, good. 9,
B,
9D,
B, B, B.
B. Okay, 2, 0. All right, next up, Hưng. 10,
6, 10A,
10A, 11,
D,
D. All right, good. 12,
B,
B. Right. 13,
D,
13 what?
D.
I still haven't heard you. What? What did you say?
13D.
D. This one, right? 13D. Okay. 14.
A.
14A Celsius corresponding increase of 1. All right, this one is very interesting because look, this is an increase of 1 is basically interpreting this the slope, which is the change of y. Remember this phrase, this is the fixed term, a change of y over the change of x by 1 unit. Remember, it will always be 1 unit. All right, this is the fixed term, and you can see that in this case is the decrease in temperature because this is the minus sign, corresponding to the attitude increase of 1. This is not a change, I'm sorry, an increase. This is the fixed term, and we will see this very often. The change of y, the slope is the change of y over the change of over the increase of x by 1 unit. It always be like that, right? So vice versa, if it is negative, will be a decrease of y over the increase of x by 1 unit. And if it is positive, will be an increase of y over the increase of x by 1 unit. So we can adapt to that, right? 15.
15B.
B. Tangent. This is a tangent is sine over cosine. And sine is basically cosine of 90 minus x, and sine is the other way around. So it's very trippy. Don't get fooled by that one. Okay, next up, Lina, 16.
16, 8/3.
8/3. 17.
9,
9. Okay, 18.
7,
7. 19.
19, 3,
3. And 20.
20, 34.
34. So there's no explanation needed for these 5 last question. It's very simple. Let's carry on. 1, V.
D.
1D. 2,
B.
B. All right. 3,
C.
BC. Okay. 4,
4B.
4B. Essentially, what are they asking for?
The second.
They're asking for the intercept, right?
Yes, then
The interception. So here is another one that I wanted you to focus on. If you see this graph and you see these 2 lines, they are dissecting each other, you are most probably going to have to find the intersection. So when you encounter this kind of question, try to find the intersection as soon as possible and then read the question, because that will save you a lot of time. All right, next one, 5.
5B.
5 is B. Okay. All right, next up is thumb, 6.
6B.
6B, which is, yeah, this just read the graph. 7.
7A.
7A, the mean is greater than median. Let's check. Which of the following statement best compare the mean and median for these 5 countries? Firstly, remember, you're going to have to sort the list first before you try to find the median. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The median will be the third one, which is Estonia. And the mean is, can you tell me what the mean is? Do you still have it? How
Um,
much is the mean?
1 sec, let me calculate.
Just tell me how do you find the mean?
I sum all the population and divide by 5.
Yeah, this one, right? 1.4 million plus 3.5 million. You get the idea, and then just divide by 5 and you get A. Okay. 8.
8A.
8 is A. That's it. At temperature, what is the relative humidity as a percent when you drill point up? Just plug and play is a linear one, so it's very simple. 8A, very good. 9.
9B.
9B. What's the mean? Just the mean. Mean is the average value. 10.
And C.
C. Very good. Next up, back 11.
Mm, 11. D.
C or D?
C.
C. Okay, forward. Yeah. 12.
A.
12 is A. Okay. 13.
A.
A. All right. 14.
B.
14 is C. Let's check. Why did you choose C?
Because first of all, this is a like positive like kind of thing. So and
Yes,
so
the
we
end
should
is positive.
yeah.
A is greater than 0.
And we could just replace some of the numbers in.
Yeah. In this case, I can easily find that this is the vertex, and the vertex is 4, 0. And we can just choose C because the vertex form is 4, 0. Or you can plug in the values and you get C. Right, 15.
15 is D.
15 is D. The total of used how many were in group B? Yeah, the ratio basically. 16. Okay. Next up is 16. I'm sorry.
A.
16 is A. 17.
17B.
D. 18.
18A.
Hang on a second. 18 is A. Yeah, it goes down. So the slope is negative. Negative 4. 19.
18B.
19B. What is the value of X minus?
D. I mean D.
Okay, D. 19D. Right, correct. 20.
20B.
How did you do this? B, right?
Yes.
B. So how was the process?
X equals Y times 100 divided by 63. And I just moved it over.
Okay. Let's see. X is 63% of Y. It should be the other way around, 63%. Right? That shouldn't it? So it's 63
Yeah,
divided by
I mean the
100.
other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
63 divided by 100. This is how you're going to do every single kind of percentage question to prevent kind of mistakes. You always have to write your equation, however easy the question might be. X is 63% of Y. Do it. Don't think it's wasting your time. It's saving the scores. Always write out your percentage. Remember that. All right, next up, Lina, 21.
21C.
21C. 22.
22D.
D, very simple. 23.
23C.
C, the number of employees when the business opened. Yes, this is the initial value. Okay, 24.
24B.
24B.
D.
Okay, D. The elephant from H6 to H10, H6 to H10. Rate of change. Yeah, we just take this last value. This is basically a line, so it's not really difficult. 25.
25A.
A. Okay, remember the dashed line is greater or smaller than, and if it's a whole line, we'll have the equal sign down below. So this is 25A, correct? Next up, Ving, 26.
8.
26A. Okay, 27.
B.
27B. This is the vertex form. Yeah, 27B. 28.
28 B.
B. Price. Feet. Yard. Yeah, just simple conversion. 29.
29 A.
A. For safe measure, you can just, after choosing your option, you can plug in a random point here. For example, this is 1 minus 4 for safe measure. 30.
38.
38. What's the highest score of 8K? All right, 38. Next up, back to Thumb. 31.
80.
31 is 80. Correct. Yeah. 32.
3.
What's that?
3.
3. Right? Is it 3?
Yes.
1. Okay. If a line of best fit predicts a larger Y value, the actual line will be below. And if the line of best fit predicts a smaller Y value, the actual data will be on top. So in this case will be underestimate. And this case will be overestimate. So there are 3. This goes the same as they are asking for how many data points are being overestimated by the line of best fit. They are the same thing. 33.
3/2.
3/2. Okay. 34.
32.
32. All right. 35.
15.
15. Let's see. If BE equals K square root of K, what is the value of K? The radius of circle is 8. EC is 1. BE is square root of K. KB1. BC is 1. Okay, you get BC. So this is 15. Good. Next up is bike 36.
36 is 115.
115. Okay. 37.
Oh, me? 10.
10. 38. 'Still you, bike.
4.
Okay, 4 or 2, or 12. Both is good. All right, we will. Okay, we still very luckily have 5 minutes left, and let's jump to the third section of 2020. Starting with 1, still you back.
Um,
Uh,
A.
Okay, A, hang on a sec. 2020, 1A. 2,
A.
A. Right. Next up, Hung, 3.
Is with sorry 3 is B.
B. Okay. 4,
4B.
4 is B. 5 is
5D.
5D. Right. Good. 6,
6 is C.
C. And 7,
7D.
7D. Right. Good. Next up, Lena. 8,
8B,
8B. 9.
9A,
A. Right. 10
10D,
and D. 11.
11B,
B. The figure shown, the area. You can use the formula of a trapezoid, or you can use the formula of a square and a triangle. Both the same, because in area and volume, you have the ability to add over the different shapes. You can dissect this one, or you can just use the equation of a trapezoid. They're the same. 12.
12C,
12C. Okay. 12C. All right, next one. V, 13.
Pressing D.
D. All right.
D.
D. 14.
A.
A. 15.
D.
D. After 200 grams. 1/2. All right. D. This is 100 year. Half-life. So this is kind of like a physics denomination, physics notation. Half-life is basically when anything comes to half, you just divide them by 2. Of a certain substance is about 150 years. That means the substance is decayed by 2, by a factor of 2 over the course of 150 years, which is basically the decaying function. With the growth or the decay factor is 1/2. So it is D. Right, next one, 16.
2.
16 is 2. Okay. 17.
5 over 2.
5 over 2. Right, you can finish this off with 18, 19, 20. 18.
18. 3.
3. 19 is
Zero, 0.8.
Okay, 0.8 or 4.4 over 5. 20.
6.
20.
48. 48.
All right, 48. The perimeter of a square in inches. All right, guys, that's it. We've just finished on time. 20:00 and 1. So that's it for today's lesson. Do you guys have any other questions about today's lesson? Okay, so this is basically how the marks is going to get. This is as difficult as it's going to get. You can see that there's not a lot to study. That's why I'm giving you so much homework, because that's it. You don't really have to learn anything more beside. Just pay close attention and try to read the question as carefully as possible. The good thing is the new digital SAT will be, the sentences will be less wordy and will be a bit more straight to the point. But you still can't be overconfident about that being quite a bit easier for you. But yeah, practice makes perfect. Try to do the homework over and over again. Try to find the questions which you might have gone right, but by some reason, maybe because you were glossing over, or you didn't pay enough attention, or you just careless. Try to perfect or try to correct and try to emphasize on those questions, other than the questions that you don't really understand. If you don't understand a question, ask me. And if you do understand a question and you do have the ability to do it right, try to do it right in the first place. Don't make mistakes. Don't make any such things as dumb mistakes. Okay. And if you guys don't have any more questions, I'll see you guys again soon in the next session. Goodbye and see you again. All right. Have a nice day.